Yeah, that's a tough loss. I thought we played with like great effort, but the execution part, defensively, we just struggled. I will say Butler did a great job of running their offense, and it's just tough, on senior night for these two ladies because these girls certainly, they deserve wins, right? But yeah, I would say Butler did a great job of running their offense, and we had a hard time making buckets.
Meg, obviously, I know you struggled for large parts of the season offensively, kind of going in and out with injury. But in that first quarter, you were just at 8 of 8, 8 points on perfect shooting. What was working for you early as you were kind of getting the offense?
Yeah, thank you. I I was just in great spots. My teammates found me. I'm lucky to be surrounded by unselfish people, and I was in good spots, and my shot fell. And can't be grateful enough for my teammates who found me in those situations.
Michelle, obviously you guys still have one game left in the tournament, but coming in this first year as a senior graduate student, what has this season meant to you, and how excited are you to finish it on the right note?
Yeah, thank you. This season has just been unexpected, but I'm really thankful. I'm really grateful for all the people I'm surrounded by. And as we go into this last game and the tournament, we're looking to finish off with a bang. We can't control everything else that happens, so just like move forward.
Obviously, you guys talk about finishing out with a bang. Just talk about that mid fourth quarter defensive stretch you guys had, where you guys tied up the game. But how can you guys carry that momentum forward into the next game against Georgetown?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really special group of young players on our team. When Elena and Natalia get going in the front court with that press, like it's pretty hard to like no one can compete with that. So I was really proud of their effort in our press, and Elena came up with some really huge steals. Obviously, we didn't have the result we wanted in the end, but definitely got to commend them for their nonstop effort. They've come up huge for us time and time again when JP has asked them to step up and get stops, and I couldn't be more proud of the younger kids for doing their job.
And then for both of you, just what's it meant for you guys to kind of be two of the older voices on this team and kind of work with each other to lead a lot of younger players into the future?
I would say it's been an impactful season for me, like growth wise. I haven't always been like the most vocal leader. I've always been a lead by example, servant leader, and this season has taught me like a lot of things in terms of growth and just coming into that role, and just being resilient for our team. That's just like I feel like what this season has been in totality for us. Yeah.
This year has definitely tested my ability to get outside myself. My struggles offensively, my struggles with my physical health is how can you serve others even when things aren't going your way. I've I've just tried to be as selfless as I can through my own personal adversity, and at the very least, I hope I've done that. So.
Kind of going off that, obviously you two play the same position, and you started the game tonight on the court together. What have you learned from each other throughout this entire season?
I thought that I would get through this without getting emotional. I've loved playing with Michelle. Michelle's the first teammate that I've had in my 5 years that's the same age as me. um, and that's been really cool. So I'm grateful for that. But I'm even more grateful for who she is. Shelly is the sweetest, most thoughtful. We'll be in the middle of a play. Someone just got knocked on their butt, and she'll turn and be like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And I've never crossed paths with someone more thoughtful. I'm so glad I got to play this year with you. It's meant the world, and I know I've gained a friend for life, which is way more important than ever putting a ball in the basket.
I'm gonna keep myself close. um wow. Meg Newman. I will say that as a teammate, like I feel like I've gained another sister, honestly. She is somebody that you can go to for anything. It doesn't have to be basketball related, school related, like, and she's just a great human being, and it's very hard to come by people like that these days. Um, as a player, I feel like Meg has been one of the teammates that's helped me grow as a leader. And I've been grateful to try and lead beside her. I feel extremely blessed to have been Meg's teammate and been on this 25-26 team. No words can amount to how grateful I am for this season, no matter the outcome. Yeah.
Good job.
You have a question?
Just really quickly, for both of you, what was it like going out there in front of the Wintrust crowd for the last time? What was going through your guys' heads before you went out there?
DePaul has been a really cool experience because they've made the fans really accessible. Our athletic department puts on events where we get to interact with our season ticket holders, and all the folks that sit courtside game in and game out I'm on a first name basis with, and I was just like really happy to give them all a hug and thank them for their consistent support of our program. It's bittersweet always doing something for the last time, but the one word I'd use is I was just really happy, because I've said time and time again what makes this place so special is the people that have built it, the people that support it. And I got to spend it with all of them tonight, so I'm just really, really happy.
I feel, not to piggyback, but I feel like just the utmost joy. I feel like when I first played here at Wintrust, and the energy from the fans and the crowd, day in and day out, like they always came to support, and like I didn't feel like, oh, I was a transfer student. I felt like I've been here for like all 4 years, and that's special. That's so special. And Wintrust is a special place, and I'm so grateful for the fans that come and support us every day. It's not something you see everywhere. So yeah.
All right, Coach, I didn't want the waterworks to fully get going while they were still in here, but just what has it meant to have those two on this team as leaders this year, along with Justice?
I think what's been interesting for these two is, I think most people would have, penciled Meg in to start, right, at the start of the year. And then she got hurt. And then right away, the responsibility went to Michelle and Justice. And, to Meg's credit, she is a real encouraging teammate. And she wanted nothing more than for those girls to do well. And then then Meg started coming in, and it's special when you can see players compete, but really just respect each other on the floor and still want each other to do well. And that's the kind of girls these girls are. They want each other to do well. It's not, they never were, they were competitive, but in the, on the court, in the right frame, but then understood that they should always support their teammate. And Shelly had a couple games, she missed for injury, and then everything falls on Meg. So they've been quite the tandem, this year. And it was actually, it was great to start them both, and they certainly earned that, deserved that. And it was fun to watch Meg get off to that kind of start, right? And that's everything I would want for her. And I, told both of them in the locker room, their best college games ahead of them, and Meg got off to a great start, and Shelly's had some great moments for us. But they're both really good young women, in terms of leaders, but just good people, really good people.
Coach, getting away from your seniors for a second, Alana West had a couple big spurts with the block on the one end, a couple of different charges and steals. What kind of defensive presence does she bring to your team, and how can your offense feed off of that?
Yeah, well, we get a lot of offense, I think, from our defense. I think we get energized by our defense, and we rely on our defense to get us going oftentimes on the offensive end of the floor. Elena has a tremendous level of energy when she's out there, and as Meg noted, she and Natalia together are special two sets of guards that can really wreak some havoc out there. And when we got it going, it's like you want those players to stay out there for as long as possible because they turned a game for us when we tied it to 53. And Elena just showed a tremendous amount of effort, and Natalia is someone we've counted on from day one to bring that energy and effort.
And Coach, obviously you guys did have that run to 10-0 run in the middle of the fourth quarter to tie it up. Obviously Butler did pull out a victory, but just what does that kind of run for you guys show that you guys can do with these next couple of games down the stretch here?
Well, Andy, I mean, it's how our team can play, and I think as a team we have to just continue to embrace the fact that we're going to have the most success when we defend and rebound, and just embrace that and that we get really excited when we get stops and when we make things happen on the defensive end of the floor. So, the goal is to start that way and have that level of intensity and then just go from there. But certainly, I'm always proud of our team showing some resiliency and not laying it down with 6 minutes to go in the game when it just felt like we couldn't get anything going, and then they made it happen on the defensive end of the floor, and then it's a basketball game again.
I mean, obviously Kate 1 of 5 tonight. She was being double and triple teamed pretty much all night. But just as a coach, what do you say to a player like that when she maybe isn't really getting what she wants to on the offensive end?
Focus on the defense, focus on rebounding, cut hard, really, just I try to tell most of them to focus on the defensive end of the floor because I think it helps us get going. So, a lot of times players are concerned about making baskets, and it just, defend. If you can hold them from making a basket, it's like making a basket. So just that, and we tell her on a pretty consistent basis. People are going to be physical with her. They're going to make it harder for her, and that's what she's earned, right? She's gone out there, played well, and now she's earning double teams and triple teams, and people making it tough on her. So, for her to have the same level of success, she realizes she's got to dig even deeper to have the same thing happen for her. Yeah.
I mean, you guys have had a fair amount of success at the free throw line of late after kind of starting the season off a bit rough from there. Just like, what has it meant for you to kind of see that happen? So like when the offense gets going, shots starting to fall.
Well, it's great to see the ball go in, especially from the free throw line, because all of our ladies can make free throws, and then when it becomes, just a little bit more, mental basically, then that can be a struggle. But they have most of them have really fought through that, and that's great to see them fight through. I mean, Natalia today, just fighting through and stepping up to the line and knowing they can make it because they know, free throws are going to win close games. And it's great that today that they did another good job at the free throw line.
I think our last game, Michelle hit a 3, and we kind of gave her a little bit of a hard time because she hadn't made one in her career yet, and she tried one today to less success. Was that something that you guys had talked to her about, potentially trying more threes, or is that something you're going to look forward to doing more here?
No, we've talked to her about it in recent weeks. She does a good job of shooting threes if she's set, and the 3 she took today was a good 3. That was a good 3 for her to take. But when she's set, she does a good job of making them in practice. And so we've encouraged her if you're open from 3, go ahead and shoot it, and then follow it up and not to get away from where you do most of your work, which is in the paint. But if you can hit an occasional 3, then she's going to be harder to guard.
One more. You mentioned Justice briefly, talking about your seniors. Obviously, she's a player we haven't seen a whole lot of, but can you tell us what she brings to her team and how important she's been to the team this year?
Yeah, Justice is another good leader, through her experience, and she's a really intelligent young woman, and I think through her different experiences in college basketball brings a lot to a team in terms of helping them through difficult times because she's been through most of it, and she's a young woman who, you know, she wants to get in communications. I think she's going to be great in communications and is really focused on what she's getting done academically and in her next phase, you know. And she, I think she would tell you basketball has given her a lot, but she's done a great job of taking advantage of the fact that she can be on scholarship and get her education and you know, we want her to stay focused here on these last few games here, but you know, I think you'll see her getting into the communications world, and she does a great job, presents herself extremely well, and just I think she's gonna be really good at that.
I mean, obviously, you guys have been close on the road these past few outings here. Just what is it going to take for this team to be able to pull one out in a hostile environment on Georgetown on Saturday when you guys have already
Yeah,
played well?
you know, it's going to take defense and rebounding, Andy. I mean, we're going to have to defend and rebound, and then we're going to have to make shots. You know, I thought we had a lot of good looks. You know, I thought we had a lot of opportunities in the paint that we didn't necessarily take full advantage of. And when you go on the road, you know, you've got to be, you know, you can't put a percent on it, but you got to be at least 15% better just to be even, you know. So you've got to bring it, and execution has to be at a higher level, a higher rate. You can't put them to the free throw line. You've got to win the rebounding battle. You got to win the 50-50 ball battle, and then you got to make open shots. And I know our players are, you know, I know they want to get their first road win, so they'll be focused on that. And again, we still want to have some momentum going into the Big East tournament next week.